think about what happened last summer. It took me a long time to decide whether I should tell this story. Not because I was afraid no one would believe me, but because every time I think back to that trip, I remember another detail that I'm certain wasn't there before. Mia and I booked an Airbnb for a 3-day vacation in a coastal city. It wasn't some luxury resort, just a high-rise apartment with an ocean view, a balcony, a small kitchen, and a pretty reasonable price. Mia found the listing. The photos looked amazing. White bed sheets, a beige couch, a full-length mirror beside the bedroom door. There was one thing in the listing that seemed a little odd. The host had written, "Do not open the balcony door after 2 a.m. I remember laughing. I looked at Mia and said, "They're probably just worried drunk guests might climb over the railing." Mia laughed too. At the time, everything felt completely normal. We arrived around 4 o'clock that afternoon. The apartment lobby was packed with tourists. Kids were running around. The air smelled like fast food, sunscreen, and damp suitcases after a long road trip. It felt like summer. It felt ordinary. We never met the host. They sent us the door code in a message. The apartment was on the 17th floor, unit 1708. But when the elevator doors opened, the hallway on the 17th floor was unsettlingly quiet. No TVs, no kids, no rolling suitcases, just the steady hum of the central air conditioning. Unit 1708 was at the very end of the hallway. Gray door, a small welcome mat in front of it. It said, "Welcome back." I remember those words perfectly. Not welcome, welcome back. Mia shrugged and said the host probably just bought whatever mat was on sale. I figured she was right. When we stepped inside, the apartment looked exactly like the listing. Clean, cool. A faint scent of essential oils filled the air. But underneath it, I caught another smell. Sunscreen. That sweet, slightly chemical scent. Like someone had just come back from the beach and collapsed onto the couch while their skin was still warm. I asked Mia if she smelled it too. She said it was probably just the floor cleaner. I let it go. That evening we had seafood for dinner, took a walk along the beach, and got back to the apartment a little before 11 o'clock. Mia was exhausted, so she showered first. I stayed on the couch, scrolling through my phone. I could hear the water running in the bathroom. I heard Mia open a bottle of shampoo. I heard her cough softly. Then, I saw someone walk past the full-length mirror beside the bedroom door. Just a figure, gone in an instant. I assumed Mia had stepped out to grab something. But the bathroom door was still closed. The shower was still running. I sat there without moving. I didn't call out. I don't know why. But in that moment, I had no desire to make sound. I got up and checked the bedroom. No one. The closet was empty. The balcony door was locked. The front door was still locked too. I told myself it had to be my reflection, or the TV, or headlights from the street outside. Anything. But when Mia came out of the shower, she looked at me and asked, "Were you just in the bathroom?" I shook my head. No. She stood there for a few seconds. The color slowly drained from her face. Then she quietly asked, "Then who knocked on the bathroom door? 3 times?" I couldn't answer. I just stood there, staring at Mia. And she did her best to act like everything was normal. Like if we didn't talk about it, then it hadn't happened. We searched the apartment one more time. The bedroom, under the bed, the kitchen cabinets, the balcony, even the small utility closet next to the washing machine. No one. The front door had an electronic lock. If someone had come in, the host should have been notified. At least, that's what I assumed. I texted the host and asked if there were any cameras inside the apartment. They replied almost immediately. There are no cameras inside the unit, only in the hallway. A few seconds later, another message came through. "Don't worry. Sometimes the knocking comes from the pipes." I read that message twice, because I had never told them we'd heard knocking. I handed my phone to Mia. She stared at the screen for a moment, then quietly said, "Maybe we should find somewhere else to stay." But it was almost midnight. A heavy storm was pounding outside. Every hotel near the beach was fully booked. I told her we'd stay just one more night and figure out in the morning. It was the dumbest decision I made that entire trip. Around 1:40 a.m., I woke up because I was sweating. The air conditioner was still running, but the room felt as hot as if someone had opened the door to an oven. Mia was lying with her back to me. I reached for my phone to check the time. 1:43. Out of nowhere, I remembered the host's warning. Do not open the balcony door after 2 a.m. I turned toward the balcony. The curtains were still closed, but beneath them, there was light, not the glow of the city, a soft golden light, like late afternoon sunlight. I figured I was still half asleep. I rubbed my eyes. The light was still there. Then I heard the waves. Very close. Not the sound of the ocean drifting up from 17 stories below. The waves sounded like they were right beside me, as if all I had to do was pull back the curtains, and the ocean would be waiting on the other side of the glass. I shook Mia. She didn't wake up. I called her name. Mia. No response. I sat up. The room was filled with the overpowering smell of sunscreen, so strong it made me nauseous. I climbed out of bed and slowly walked toward the balcony. With every step, I heard sand crunching beneath my feet, but the floor was hardwood. I looked down. There was real sand. A trail of wet sand stretched from the balcony door, all the way to the side of the bed. I froze. Then my phone vibrated. A text message from a host, sent at 1:59 a.m. It contained only one sentence. If she calls to you from the balcony, don't answer. At that exact moment, from behind the curtain, I heard Mia's voice. Soft, close, almost right outside the glass. Ryan, open the door for me. I went straight back to the bed. Mia was still there, right where she'd been, lying on her side with her back facing me. I looked at her, then at the curtain. The voice from the balcony came again. Ryan, I'm so cold. I had no idea what to do. I just stood there in the middle of the room like an idiot. On one side, Mia was lying in bed. On the other, Mia was calling to me from outside the balcony. And the worst part was, the voice outside sounded more real. It trembled. I could hear her breathing. It even had that drawn-out way. She always said my name whenever she was scared. Ryan. I grabbed my phone and called the host. No answer. I sent a message. What's happening? The message showed as sent. Then, it disappeared. Not failed. Not deleted by me. It simply vanished from the conversation, as if I'd never sent it. I opened the B&B app again. The listing was still there, but the photos had changed. It was the same apartment. The beige couch, the white bed sheets, the full-length mirror. But in the bedroom photo, there were two people lying in the bed. I zoomed in. The image was blurry. One of them was me. The other was Mia. Both of us were asleep, and standing beside the balcony door was a woman facing away from the camera. Her hair was soaking wet. She was wearing a white beach dress. I didn't remember that photo being there when we booked the place. I was absolutely certain of it. I turned and shook Mia as hard as I could. This time she woke up. She opened her eyes and, annoyed, asked what was wrong. Before I could answer, 3 knocks echoed from outside the balcony. Knock, knock, knock. Mia froze. She looked at me, then at the curtain. I whispered, "Did you hear that?" She nodded, but what she said next sent a chill through my entire body. Ryan, our balcony is on the other side. I stood there. It took several seconds for the words to sink in. The bedroom didn't have a balcony. The balcony was connected to the living room. So, what exactly was behind the curtain in front of me? I slowly turned around. The room wasn't the same room we'd checked into anymore. The full-length mirror was gone. On the wall opposite the bed, there was now a large glass door. Behind a white curtain glowed warm golden sunlight. Like late afternoon, the rain was gone. The night was gone. The traffic below had disappeared. All I could hear were the waves. And somewhere outside, a woman crying softly. Mia broke down in tears. She said she wanted to get out. I grabbed her hand and we ran into the living room. But the front door wasn't where it had been before. In its place was a blank white wall. Hanging on it was a framed photograph. A beach, a couple standing with their backs to the camera. The man was wearing a blue t-shirt. The woman wore a white dress. I recognized that blue shirt. I was wearing it. Mia recognized it too. She stumbled backward, bumping into the dining table. On the table sat a guest book. The kind vacation rentals leave for visitors to write a few kind words before checking out. My hands shook as I opened it. The first pages were filled with ordinary messages. Beautiful apartment. Amazing ocean view. The host was very responsive. I flipped to the last page. There was a single sentence, written in my handwriting, but I had never written it. We've been here since the summer of 2019. Please don't book this apartment. Below it was a signature, Ryan Cole, and beneath the signature was tomorrow's date.